This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, for any of you guys who think that defense doesn't matter, this game's for you.
Yeah.
Because boy, does it matter. And it was the difference, honestly. Like, I know Mariners lose 11-3, and it's an 8-run game. Anderson Hurst here, Christopher Crawford to my left. We're your hosts of the Locked On Mariners POSTCAST on the Locked On Mariners YouTube channel, where we go live right after every single Mariner baseball game to break down the game you just watched.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about some sloppy defense for sure. I think that's the story of the game, personally, for me at least. Bryan Woo's start, some good, some bad. Not much better after that, pitching-wise, with the bullpen. And then we'll do our Unsung Hero and Unsung Villain, as always. But I think the biggest story, Christopher Crawford, is the defense. And we saw what a difference it can make when you make those plays, the borderline plays. I don't think there was ever like a massive oopsie doopsie that was like, this is a 100% play should be made. But these are plays that big leaguers should be playing or should be making, excuse me.
Yeah.
And it just happened way too often today. And it ends up, I think, being the difference in the game because your offense was all right. They got to Hunter Brown a little bit. Got him. The pitch count was up. They got him out. And I think like the 5th or 6th inning. Can't remember exactly. There was so much that happened after that. But it sucks that this is what we're talking about. Thank God they won yesterday, though. So what are your original thoughts with this loss to the Houston Astros?
So, yeah, I'm super glad that they won yesterday. And, you know, if I had my druthers, maybe I would have preferred yesterday's game to be played today vice versa. Just so
for vibes.
The vibes, you know, because this is the thing about doing a daily show, right? Like, as fun as it was for those first 2 wins, and as big as those wins are, today stunk. And it's interesting that today stunk because for the first 3.5 innings, maybe it was 4 innings, didn't think at all. It was a really well played game. Bryan Woo was shoving. You get a clutch hit from Julio. You get some clutch RBI from, I don't even remember who drove in the other runs at this point because the Astros end up scoring the other 11 runs in this baseball game. But there are just so many gaffes, and there are gaffes that are physical gaffes that are made in this game, and then there are mental gaffes that are made in this game. And there's also a horrific send once again from a Mariner third base coach that we can talk about as well. But I mean, I can't be too mad because they won these last 2, and you know, getting blown out is not a huge shocker after you win 2 straight games against a good baseball team. But like, when you have that 3-0 lead, when things are going so well, for it to just completely fall apart like that, it's pretty disappointing.
All right, we're blaming this one on Rob because apparently he told his wife last night that the Mariners never lose on Sundays. I cost him the game. You should get rid of me and trade me for Suarez immediately. Rob, if that's what we could do, I would do it. I love you, and I love when you come and hang out with us. But, boy, it would be nice to have Eugenio Suarez right now. And all jokes aside, let's start with the start. I almost don't want to because there's some other stuff that we don't really need to bury the lead on. Because Bryan Woo wasn't great today. He was really good, like you said, through 3-4 innings. And then it just kind of fell apart for him. His command left him. I'm going to ask you about velocity concerns, considering he's only pitched 1 inning in the last 9 days.
Yeah,
there was definitely a velocity downtick, I guess you could say, with him today, especially in those later innings. So let's start with the start. Bryan Woo, original thoughts.
I thought Bryan Woo was really good over the first 3 innings of this baseball game. And I come out of this thing less concerned about Bryan Woo than concerned about some other stuff, right? Like, I am concerned, as everyone else is, about the fact that when he faces a lineup for the 3rd time, it's not great. But the fact that he gets to face a lineup 3 times so often is a compliment to Bryan Woo as well. Okay. So, like, sure, I'd like to see him pitch better in the 6th and the 7th inning when he gets that deep. And the velocity thing, I think that has more to do with what you're talking about. I don't think Bryan Woo was fully ramped up for this start, right? Like, because we didn't see the 97 that we normally see. Like, and it's possible that the Mariners were also because, hey, the whole reason Logan Evans starts yesterday, what was it about? Giving guys rest, right?
Right.
It's possible the Mariners are also saying, dial it back a little bit here, okay? We know you can be effective. They're not telling him to throw it like 50%, but, maybe not a ton of reaching back for those 97, 98s that Bryan Woo can hit. But I thought the stuff was solid until, and honestly, the big inning where he gives up the 3 runs, almost that is Bryan Woo's fault.
Yeah.
Almost none of it. And then
he wasn't, okay, I will say, he wasn't pitching great, though. It's not like he was dotting his spots. They were still getting hard contact. No, but it's plays that should be made.
Yes, he should have came out of that inning with 1 run at most.
Yes.
1 run at most. And then the problem was the 6th inning. And I think the issue there is because Woo labored so much in the 5th inning that his stuff wasn't nearly effective as the 6th inning. He gives up those 2 solo homers.
Good point.
One of them to a guy that I do want to talk about today. But I thought Bryan Woo was fine. I think that I'm not long-term concerned by any of this. Okay. I would have liked to have seen a better start for sure. Like there were some shaky moments, and I don't want to see you giving up home runs. I don't want to see anybody giving up home runs. But this should have been about a 5 inning of 2-run baseball starts, and you will take that from a guy who has been as good as any starter in baseball.
Yeah, and for almost until the last inning, he was outdueling Hunter Brown.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, he was pitching better than him today, which 100%. Is weird to say in an 11-3 loss that your starter kind of pitched better than their starter. Mm-hmm. But because of what happens in the last, really just the last inning, but you could say the last 2 innings, depending on how you look at it, it doesn't end up being that way, unfortunately. So let's talk about the defense. I think there's really 2 big moments in this game. It's the 3rd inning with the Mariners on offense, and then it's the 5th inning with the Mariners on defense. Okay. Which one do you want to start with? Because we could go positive and then we can go negative. Or do you want to?
Let's go positive just for a second. So that 3rd inning, that hit from Jorge Polanco was just massive, massive. And I want to give some credit to Julio there too, because how many guys are scoring from second base on that play? That ball was shellacked, and it was fielded by that right fielder really quick. So it was huge to have somebody who could sprint home there, right? So that was awesome to see. And it was also awesome to see that they didn't waste a bases loaded situation there, because Randy Arozarena's at bat before that was awful, an awful at bat, a pitch that you can't swing at that pitch, man. That is just not, that is the pitch that we've given Julio a lot of crap for, right? Like that is a play. And it was a very good non-send there. I want to give credit to Negron there because I'll be taking a lot of it away very, very soon. That was a good decision. And then lining that single to make it 2-0. And then in the 4th inning, it's not hard contact, but you hit the ball up the middle from Julio Rodriguez to make it 3-0, and you're feeling great. And it is worth pointing out that for 4 innings, this was a good baseball team. And then for 5 innings, it was Rockies adjacent, right? Like, and that's not good enough. That's not good enough. It doesn't matter that you won the previous 2. Those last 5 innings weren't good enough. But there were some positive moments from this game, at least. Nobody wants to hear it, of course, because, this is result-oriented sport. The wins and the losses matter more. And you took a big old L today. But I do think there were maybe more positive moments from this game than you might expect from a game you lose by 8 runs and play horrific defense.
Yeah, and, now today's not the game to jump on Julio. It's just sucks that for me that it seems like his momentum that he built in Detroit has kind of gone away a little bit. The timing that we saw
I think that's crazy.
Isn't there, man.
I don't think that's fair. I think that people are expecting Julio Rodriguez to hit home runs every single baseball game.
It's not about that, though. It's about the eye test when he watches at bats, man. They're just.
I had no issues with any of the bats other than a strikeout today. Like, I just think we want to pick on people for some reason. And that's fine. Everybody's entitled to do what they want to do. But sure, I'd like to have seen him drive the baseball. The only time he drove a baseball in this series was down the right field line. And if you asked Julio, he'd probably say, I was a little late on 91 miles per hour. I should probably take that ball out to the right center field fence. But I think it's kind of crazy to be picking on a guy who reached 5 times in like 11 plate appearances. That just seems a little silly to
Chris,
me. But
we're not picking on him. I'm just saying this is
I'm not even saying
where...
just you, though, buddy. I'm not saying it's you picking on him. I am saying that I know how this fan base reacts. I know what my social media tells me. I know what people are saying about Julio Rodriguez. So I apologize for taking that out on you, Anderson. That is not what I think I was meaning to do. But what I am saying is, I don't think I have timing concerns based on a weekend. I don't personally have timing concerns.
Okay, then we can't say that he's back after one weekend as well.
No, didn't I say that as well? I said, I don't know, like 65 times when we were talking about whether or not Julio Rodriguez was back, right? I don't know. I take more positives out of what I saw from Julio Rodriguez this weekend than negatives, though, is what I should have just said in the first place. But I don't know if Julio Rodriguez is back. I have no idea, and no one else does. No one, absolutely. Julio doesn't. Hollander doesn't. Nostradamus Chris is not able to tell you whether or not Julio Rodriguez is back right now.
Well, not like he helps himself defensively today either. So there's some...
Yeah, he made a huge mistake in the outfield. No question about it. No question about it. That's a ball that he catches the majority of the time, right? Like it's not an easy play because it's hit straight over your head, but that's a play you have to make as your center fielder. 100%. There were not only were there the errors today from the defense, there were some balls that both Julio and Canzone should have caught.
And Randy.
So can we go to that inning specifically?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So first of all, Woo issues the walk. I thought he had the guy struck out. I thought he had got him struck out. Okay. But he issues the walk. He throws a pitch out of the strike zone. Randy Rosarina, that ball that's hit on the line, I feel like the left fielder's got to catch that baseball, man. I feel like that's a play that Randy Rosarina has to make. Okay. Then what's the next play after that? This is where I forget things a little bit because
Cooper Hummel grounds into a force out.
Yeah,
so you get one.
Okay. And then this is the other thing. I forgot about this. Jorge Polanco kind of takes his time on that ball.
Yeah.
It should have been a double play.
Should
have been a double play. And then the next play. And this is the big one to me, right?
Yeah.
There is 2 massive mistakes. First of all, what a horrible, horrible, horrible decision by Miles Mastrobuoni to throw home on that play. And what we're talking about is the pop-up that JP Crawford drops. Right?
Yes.
Just drops. And I would kind of disagree with you a little bit that's a play I think that's a pretty routine play, man. Like that's a pretty routine play from your shortstop to make. He's drifting a little bit. There's not a lot of exit velocity on it. And it just shows that the fact he doesn't settle underneath it is the biggest issue for me because he's not showing that same range. He is not showing that same range that he had when he was younger. And you know what? That's how time works, right? Like we all get slower.
Yeah.
Lord knows I know I'm getting slower.
Yeah.
And then that throw from Mastrobuoni, you have a clean out and you get out of that inning with just giving up the 1 run.
Yep.
That's a massive mistake by Mastrobuoni as well. And it shouldn't have happened. Crawford should have just caught it clean and blah, blah, blah. But Mastrobuoni has to know, oh, crap, there is no way the runner on first base is even halfway here. Just go get that automatic out. And it ended up, it's weird to say in a game they lose by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, but it did end up hurting them quite a bit because they were playing catch up for that point on.
Yeah, and I totally forgot about the throw from Mastrobuoni because you're right. It could have just gotten out of that inning with 1 run scored instead of more than that. I just rewatched it, by the way. I don't know if you heard it in the background, but I kind of changed my stance a little bit on that. He has to make that catch. I thought it was a little more like drifting behind him, and then it was like a Bermuda Triangle sort of situation where he tries to, but no, he has to make that catch.
Yeah, at first, the first glance to me was like, and if you were in the ballpark, you were probably thinking, oh, that's a kind of a tough play because you see those kind of balls bloop in all the time.
Yeah,
but that's the nice thing about having the ability to watch it on replay, right? Like that is a play your shortstop has to get underneath very, very easily. And then Dom Canzone completely misreads that ball off Cam Smith's bat. I think he thought that ball was gone. He's just looking over the fence.
Yep.
I'm not saying that ball should be caught. I'm saying Victor Robles catches that baseball. I'm saying that there are better outfielders who make that play. So Dom Canzone, the whole thing is you've really got to hit to justify being in your lineup because he's a bad defensive outfielder.
Yeah, I completely agree. And not to mention to score, even though the throw was on time for the second runner, once again, we see a Mariners catcher completely miss a tag.
Great point.
What are we doing? Mitch Garver doesn't even reach. This has to change because this has happened a couple times with Cal this year too.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's not okay. It's not.
I hate calling a major league player lazy, but that was a lazy tag. That was a lazy tag. And it was also, I think he was surprised that the runner was there, which I kind of get. Like, you don't usually expect boom, boom runners, to be coming through the plate. So I get a little
slowed down because he was for sure going to score. Second guy was coming booking because he knows it's going to be a close play. So
it was very much that rookie of the year play where the guy's running just right behind. That's the thing. But you got to be prepared. You've got to be prepared for something like that. And just a little swipe ole tag doesn't get the job done. And all of those runs mattered because I know it falls apart, but it falls apart in part because using not your high leverage relievers. It falls apart because of, your offense just kind of goes completely kaput afterwards. But that stuff matters, man. It absolutely matters.
Yep. And then that ends up tying the game. And then bottom 5 is when I think this is Bryan Woo's undoing here. When Christian Walker hits the home run and then Taylor Trammell hits the home run and it's 5-3 and the Astros never look back at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 very bad pitches. And we'll do our ad read and get into the unsung hero, but my unsung hero might actually upset some folks. But yeah, there's no denying that Bryan Woo was laboring at that point. And that is why rest is great. But routine matters just as much. And I think Bryan Woo was just a little off routine here. The fact that he had only thrown that 1 inning over 9 games, it may pay off in the long term, right? It may pay off in the long term. But he was not at his best today, even if the defense really
didn't help him.
STB'd in that fourth.
All right. Let's give some love to our sponsors for today, and we'll get back to the unsung heroes and then talk a little bit more about the offense.
Sure.
Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting.
You are already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. It's awesome if you're doing a same-game parlay or if you're just letting a bet ride into the 9th inning. If you're one of those people who had Astros 7.5, congratulations on your win. But FanDuel makes it exciting no matter what the score of the game.
New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online.
Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast.
Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service. You'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn.
And if you join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Okay.
Really quick unsung hero. And then I want to mention a really quick thing about the Mariners' best player right now. And if you have any concerns. So, you said you kind of or teased that this unsung hero for you people might get upset about. I have a sense of where this is going.
So I'm not rooting against the Seattle Mariners ever. But there are good people, there are great people, and then there are people like Taylor Trammell. And seeing somebody like Taylor Trammell have success, I'm sorry, it was awesome for me. It was, and you know what? If it was awesome at a game that the Mariners lost by 1 run, I wouldn't be all that happy for him, right? Because he would have been. But seeing him play up to the prospect level that he showed when he was a very highly, let's not forget the Ty France Andres Munoz trade. Taylor Trammell was the headliner of that deal at the time. The headliner of that deal. Taylor Trammell is one of the truly great people in the sport. I've never heard anyone say anything negative about the person. The baseball player, there have been some issues on the field.
Definitely.
It was pretty cool seeing Taylor Trammell have a big game. I hope he doesn't have another one against the Seattle Mariners for the rest of his life. But I'm sorry. I really enjoyed watching Taylor Trammell succeed in a game where the Mariners just weren't competitive for the final 5 innings.
Yeah, I don't hate that take at all. You root for the good guys in the sport.
Yeah.
It hurts a little bit to me that this isn't for the Mariners.
Sure,
and
I totally agree.
For all the excitement we had for him, like, everyone had at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny how you're a prospect guy and then one of the top prospects that doesn't do well, and then he finally does well. It's like, we were right.
Yeah,
yeah, but no,
no. He has been a very poor Major League Baseball player. It's nice, 740 OPS right now. That's not too bad.
He's having a decent year.
He's having a decent little year, and I think he can be a fine fourth outfielder. He'll never come close to living up to the hype that and a real quick unsung villain for the Seattle Mariners, Luke Raley. Oof.
Oh God, that's where I was gonna go. Okay, you can.
Yeah, sorry, you do it then. You do it.
You took both. All right, that's all right.
You do it.
Luke Raley sucks right now, guys. He's just not good. He's not a good defensive first baseman. He's not a good offensive player, and I haven't even seen him play enough right field to where I can tell if he's a good defensive right fielder. He's basically Dom Canzone without the bat at this point in time because it looks bad. And it sucks because he had such a good year last year. He brings a little bit of a grit to the Mariners that I think is very much needed on this team. But when the results aren't coming, I'd be curious to see, and it's just a good example of how much they need a first baseman. But I'd be interested to see, because we saw all series the Astros keep going to their lefties in the bullpen to keep the right-handed hitters in the lineup. Yeah. I'd be interested to see if that switches a little bit. If Dom Canzone continues to show at least some sort of ability to hit left-handed pitching, because Luke Raley cannot, and the continuing Luke Raley just downside, that might switch a little bit to see a little bit more right-handers from the opposing team.
I think so. And here's the thing about Luke Raley. If you take a look at his season last year, and overall numbers are great, there are a couple of months that are just horrific months. And I think July might be that for Luke Raley this year. I won't be surprised if he turns things around. I will also say this, Jerry, Justin, John, Dave, whoever's listening here, don't count on it. You can't rely on Luke Raley right now. To me, what Luke Raley is a wonderful part-time player, a wonderful part-time player to have. A guy you can have come off the bench who plays 100 to 115 games, puts up decent numbers, but he can't be hitting in the middle of your order. This is a example of what we've talked about all year, Anders. We see the ceiling of the offense. We have to talk about the floor. We have to talk about, real quick. So it's a 5-3 game, okay? And I believe it's Miles Mastrobuoni who's on first base, right? Yep. And JP Crawford lines a double, okay? Yep. And it was great to see him line that double because he was having a horrible game. And
both offensively and defensively.
Offensively and defensively.
And this is, by the way, this is when the game's still close.
This game is still very close.
It's a 5-3 game, I believe, at that point.
5-3 game. And Negron sends Mastrobuoni on a ball that was fielded well before the outfield
with
wall.
2 outs.
With 2 outs, let's make that clear. So that's the only reason you're probably considering the send there. It's still a horrible send. It's a horrible send. And the reason it's a horrible send, it's not because Julio and Raleigh are next. It's because you're down 2. You're down 2. Yeah. You need both runs. So why take away that chance for the big inning there? It's a horrible send. Now, I'll also give credit. It was a terrific throw to the plate. And apparently catchers are allowed to make good tags because that was a really good tag at the plate there too.
It was right after the Garver one too.
Yeah,
it's just like, hey, and that's what you're supposed to do.
And I saw some people criticizing Mastroboni for the slide, and it wasn't a perfect slide. There's not a hell of a lot you can do when your foot goes in the air, right? Like that's the hardest part. And you're not telling anybody to slide head first anymore because it's just such a massive injury risk and kind of easier to make the tag. You got full arms and a whole bunch of stuff there. So I just hated that send. I hated it. The Mariners have made their share of base running mistakes. It's not good that their coaches are contributing to these base running mistakes.
Yeah, I where I stand on the send there, it probably isn't the right decision. I don't hate it as much as you do. The down 2 runs thing is the big reason why it's not the right decision. Totally agree. If you're down by 1 there,
I'm
totally agree. Cool with doing that.
Yeah, no doubt about it because you know you got a chance to tie the game and you have so much baseball left to be played there. It's the fact that you're down 2 there that it's the big issue with me, you know.
But I'm also okay with trying to be aggressive in any sort of opportunity you have to score a run. Like, hey, even if it's probably not going to work, let's try and see if it works. Mastroboni has shown he has some wheels. He kind of looked really slow when he was running in that point.
Yeah.
Though. Just a heads up. Maybe he's a little slower than I thought he was, sort of situation. Yeah. But I don't hate it as much as you do. Probably wasn't the right decision, but I'm okay with the aggressiveness. I usually, but just, for everyone to know, I'm usually more of an aggressive base running fan.
Sure.
So I'm more often than not okay with that than some other people are. But I understand the thoughts.
Yes. Yeah, because you have to take chances in baseball games. I don't want to say that. You have to take risk, especially if Altuve was in left field, you're sending that guy every single time. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's that type of thing. But when you're down 2, you've got to be really sure. You got to be really, really sure because I would rather have second and third with Julio and Cal coming to the plate next than I would have nothing, right?
Yeah.
That's just it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, I guess I just look in my head like what's more likely, we score on that play or Julio comes through with 2 outs. It's pretty close, to be honest. It's probably pretty close. So I don't hate it as much as some people do, including yourself. But I probably still think it's the wrong decision. So
fair. Totally fair.
Really quick before we get out of here, any concerns on Cal? I tweeted this out yesterday, and some people ate this up. I'm a negative Nelly guy. Whenever someone starts to look bad, we just experienced that with Julio. I liked, and by the way, I'm not even jumping on it like, oh, he sucks, we need to get him out of the lineup. It's like, all right, I'm trying to be a little bit predictive here. Can I foresee a hot streak coming from this guy, both Julio and Cal? And now we're going to talk about Cal Raleigh. It just seems like he's getting under everything or he's walking. And do you see the same thing that I'm seeing here? It's just a classic coming out of the All-Star break after doing the home run derby. Everyone's going to point to that now.
Yeah.
Plus some regression was due for sure for Cal Raleigh. Do you foresee kind of a little bit of a mini slump here?
Here's what I foresee as a mini slump for him. There's going to be some power regression, man. There's going to be some power regression, and there's going to be some pitches that you think he should be driving. That's just not going to happen. It's what happens when you hit 38 homers. He's still getting on base at a nice little clip. He gets on base twice today. Should have actually gotten on 3 times. A terrific play by the second baseman to basically end that baseball game. So he's still going to contribute, but you can't rely on the dingers right now. And congratulations to Cal Raleigh on hitting 5 tomorrow, because we're saying this
yes, I'm trying to speak it into existence.
I have no problem with that. But I'm not too worried about Big Dumper in terms of the overall production, but those balls may not get over the fence as often just because it's time for some bad luck. And if you take a look at Cal Raleigh's season, he has had some luck with home runs this year. I think he's +7 in terms of what his actual homer total is over what it should be. So there's going to be some regression in that regard, I think. Real quick, can we talk about Bryan Abreu coming into pitch in an 11-3 baseball game?
Yeah, after pitching yesterday too.
After pitching yesterday, that's bizarre to me. That's really bizarre. And I wonder if it's I want to see you get right against this baseball team because the Mariners have just owned this dude. I believe he had an 11.67 ERA against the Mariners coming into today. And, and by the way, it was nice to see Canzone get a hit against him after looking so freaking washed against him yesterday in that at bat. But I just thought that was bizarre. You could tell that the Astros had a sense of urgency today that the Seattle Mariners just didn't have.
Yep, and they kept adding on. That's something that even when the Mariners do win games, they don't do that well, as they add on. And that's something the Astros did today very much. So the Mariners still win the series, but they dropped this one 11-3 after some defensive miscues, just a lot of kind of bad juju going on in the last 5 innings of this game. Bryan Woo was all right good in the first 3 innings, fine in the first 4 innings, fine in the 5th inning. Probably got a little unlucky with his defense and then kind of imploded in the 6th inning. And kind of went downhill from there. But we'll be back with you guys tomorrow. We need to win this series against the Brewers, who are one of the hottest teams in baseball right now.
Series.
So if you look at the pitching matchups, those are 3 really good pitchers going against us. So this is going to be a tough one to get for the Mariners. Winning 2 out of 3 would be huge. Any last words, Chris Crawford, before we see you guys once again tomorrow?
I'll just emphasize again, thank God they won yesterday.
I'm with you on that. Sorry, I know I gave you last word, but I'm going to say one more time. Like the video if you haven't already. Comment in what you guys thought about Unsung Hero, who you guys thought was the biggest moment in this game. And then look out for Ty and Colby with Locked On Mariners tomorrow. They're going to have an episode kind of breaking down this whole series. We kind of do game by game. They do the whole series after the weekend and then probably looking ahead some trade deadline stuff. But we'll see you guys once again tomorrow.